Hello everyone, welcome to Veda the law classes. We have continued the BNS and today we will study about the chapter number 4. So what the chapter number 4 is? So chapter number 4 basically, wait a second. So chapter number 3, this is the chapter number 4. Right of private defense, all the exceptions are in chapter number 3. Then, yeah, from here. Chapter number 4 is of abatement, criminal conspiracy and attempt of abatement. So, अभी हम एक एक से सेक्शन के बारे में पढ़ेंगे कि of abatement, criminal conspiracy and attempt of abatement. So 45, abatement of a thing. A person abates the doing of a thing who instigate any person to do that thing, or be engaged with one or more other person in any conspiracy for the doing of that thing. If an act or illegal omission takes place in pursuance of that conspiracy and in order to the doing of that thing, or C. Intentionally aid by any act or illegal omission the doing of that thing. Explanation 1. A person who will willful misrepresentation or by willful concealment of a material fact which he is bound to do disclose, voluntarily causes or procures or attempt to cause or procure a thing to be done is said to be instigate the doing of that thing. Illustration. A public officer is authorized by a warrant from a court to apprehend Z. B, knowing that fact and also that C is not Z, willfully represents to A that C is Z, and that thereby intentionally causes A to apprehend C. Here B abate the instigation, the apprehension of C. So this is the section 45. Explanation 2. Whoever either prior to or the time of the commission of an act does anything in order to facilitate the commission of that act and thereby facilitate the commission thereof is said to aid the doing of that act. Now the section number 46, abater. So a person abates an offense who abates either the commission of an offense or the commission of an act which would be an offense if committed by a person capable by law of committing an offense with the same intention or knowledge as that of a abater. Explanation number 1. The abatement of the illegal omission of an act may amount of an offense, although the abater may not himself be bound to do that act. Explanation number 2. To constitute the offense of abatement, it is not necessary that the act abated should be committed or that effect requisite to constitute the offense should be caused. Illustration. A instigate B to murder C. B refuses to do so. A is guilty of abating B to commit murder. Next, A instigate B to murder D. B, in pursuance of the instigation, stabs D. D recovers from the wound. A is guilty of instigation B to commit murder. Explanation 3. It is not necessary that the person abated should be capable by law of committing an offense or that he should have the same guilty intention or knowledge as that of the abater or any guilty intention or knowledge. Illustration. First, A with a guilty intention abates child or a person of unsound mind to commit an act which would be an offense if committed by a person capable by law of committing an offense and having the same intention as A. Here A, whether the act be committed or not, is guilty of abetting an offense. Next, A, with the intention of murdering Z, instigate B, a child under 7 years of age, to do an act which causes Z's death. B, in consequences of the abetment, does the act in the absence of A and thereby causes Z's death. Here, B was not capable by law of committing an offense. A is liable to be punished in the same manner as if B had been capable by law of committing an offense and had committed murder, and he is therefore subject to the punishment of death. Now, next, A instigate B to set fire to a dwelling house. B, in consequences of his unsoundedness of mind, being incapable of knowing the nature of the act, or that he is doing what is wrong or contrary to the law, sets fire to the house in consequences of A's instigation. B has committed no offense, but A is guilty of abetting the offense of setting fire to a dwelling house and is liable to the punishment provided for that offense. Next, D, a intention to cause a theft to be committed, instigate B to take property belonging to Z out of Z's possession. A induces B to believe that property belongs to A. B takes the property out of Z's possession in good faith, believing it to be A's property. B, acting under this misconception, does not take dishonesty and therefore does not commit theft, but A is guilty of abetting theft and is liable to the same punishment as if B had committed theft. Explanation 4. The abatement of an offense being an offense. Again, explanation number 4. The abatement of an offense being an offense. The abatement of such an abatement is also an offense. Illustration. What is the meaning of this? Illustration. A instigate B to instigate C to murder Z. B accordingly instigates C to murder Z, and C commits that offense is consequences of B's instigation. B is liable to be punished for his offense with the punishment for murder, and as A instigated B to commit the offense, A is also liable to the same punishment. Explanation number 5. It is not necessary to the commission of the offense of abatement by conspiracy that the abater should consort the offense with the person who commits it. It is sufficient if he engages in the conspiracy in pursuance of which the offense is committed. So, illustration. A concerts with B a plan for poisoning Z. It is agreed that A shall administer the poison. B then explain the plan to C, mentioning that a third person is to administer the poison. But without mentioning A's name, C agrees to procure the poison and procure and deliver it to B for the purpose of its being used in the manner explained. A administers the poison. Z dies in consequences. Here, though A and C have not conspired together, yet C has been engaged in the conspiracy in pursuance of which Z has been murdered. C has therefore committed the offense defined in this section and is liable to the punishment for murder. Section number 47. Abatement in India of offenses outside India. Abatement in India of offenses outside India. A person abates an offense within the meaning of this Sanhita who in India abates the commission of any act without and beyond India which would constitute an offense if committed in India. Illustration: A in India instigate B, a foreigner in country X, to commit a murder in that country. A is guilty of abetting murder. Section 48. Abatement outside India for offense in India. A person abates an offense within the meaning of this Sanhita who, without and beyond India, abates the commission of any act in India which would constitute an offense if committed in India. Illustration: A in country X instigate B to commit a murder in India. A is guilty of abetting murder. Section number 49. Punishment of abatement if act abated is committed in consequences and where no express provision is made for its punishment. Whoever abates any offense shall, if the act abated is committed in consequences of the abatement and no express provision is made by this Sanhita for the punishment of such abatement, be punished with the punishment provided for the offense. Explanation: an act or offense is said to be committed in consequences of abatement when it is committed in consequences of the instigation or in pursuance of the conspiracy or with the aid which constitute the abatement. Illustration: A instigate B to give false evidence. B in consequences of instigation commits that offense. A is guilty of abating that offense and is liable to the same punishment as B. Illustration B. A and B conspired to poison Z. A, in pursuance of the conspiracy, procured the poison and deliver it to B in order that he may administer it to Z. B, in pursuance of this conspiracy, administers the poison to Z in A's absence and thereby causes Z's death. Here B is guilty. He is guilty of murder. A is guilty of abating that offense by conspiracy and is liable to the punishment for murder. Section 50. Punishment of abatement if person abated does act with different intention from that of abater. Whoever abates the commission of an offense shall, if the person abated does the act with a different intention or knowledge from that of the abater, be punished with punishment provided for the offense which would have been committed if act had done with the intention or knowledge of the abater and with no other. Section 51. Liability of abater when one act abated and different act done. When an act is abated and a different act is done, the abater is liable for the act done. In the same manner and to the same extent as if he had directly abated it, provided that the act done was a probable consequences of the abatement and was committed under the influence of the instigation or with the aid or in pursuance of the conspiracy which constitute the abatement. Illustration. Illustration A. A instigate a child, put poison into the food of Z and gives him poison for that purpose. The child, in consequences of the instigation, by mistake put the poison into the food of Y, which is by the side of that Z. Here, if the child was acting under the influence of A's instigation and the act was done under the circumstances of probable consequences of the abatement, A is liable in the same manner and to the same extent as if he had instigated the child to put the poison into the food of Y. Illustration B. A instigates B to burn Z's house. B set fire to the house and at the same time commits theft of property there. A thought A, though guilty of abetting the burning the house, is not guilty of abetting the theft. For the theft was a distinct act and not a probable consequences of the burning. Illustration number C. A instigate B and C to break into the inhabited house at midnight for the purpose of robbery and provides them with arms for the purpose. B and C break into the house and being resisted by Jed, one of the inmates murder Jed. Here, if that murder was probable consequences of the abatement, A is liable to the punishment provided for murder. Now section number 52. Abater, when liable to cumulative punishment for act abated and for act done, if the act for which the abater is liable under section 51 is committed in addition to the act abated and constitute a distinct offence, the abater is liable to the punishment of each of offences. Illustration. A instigate B to resist by force or distress made by a public servant. B in consequences resist that distress. In offensing the resistance, B voluntarily causes grievous hurt to the officer executing the distress. A, as B has committed both the offence of resisting the distress and the offence of voluntarily causing grievous hurt, B is liable to punishment for both these offences. And if A knew that B was likely voluntarily to cause grievous hurt in resisting the distress, A will also be liable to the punishment for each of the offences. Section 53. Liability of abater for an effect caused by act abated different from that intended by abater. When an act is abated with the intention on the part of the abater of causing a particular effect and an act for which the abater is liable in consequences of abatement causes a different effect from that intended by the abater, the abater is liable for the effect caused in the same manner and to the same extent as if he had abated the act with the intention of causing that effect, provided he knew that the act abated was likely to cause that effect. Illustration. A instigate B to cause grievous hurt to Z. B in consequences of instigation causes grievous hurt to Z. Z dies in consequences. Here, if A knew that grievous hurt abated was likely to cause death, A is liable to be punished with the punishment provided for murder. Section 54. Abater present when offence is committed. Whenever any person who is absent would be liable to the punished as a abater if present when the act or offence for which he would be punishable in consequences of the abatement is committed, and he shall be deemed to have committed such act or offence. Section 55. Abatement of offence punishable with death or imprisonment for life. Whoever abates the commission of an offence punishable with death or imprisonment for life shall, if that offence be not committed in consequences of the abatement and no express provision is made under this Sanhita for the punishment of such abatement, be punished with imprisonment of either description of for a term which may extend to 7 years and shall also be liable to fine, and if any act for which the abater is liable in consequences of the abatement and such couch and which causes hurt to any person is done, the abater shall be liable to imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 14 years and shall also be liable to fine. Illustration: A instigate B to murder Z. The offense is not committed. If B had murdered Z, he would have been subject to the punishment of death or imprisonment for life. Therefore, A is liable to imprisonment for a term which may extend to 7 years and also a fine. And if any hurt be done to Z in consequences of the abatement, he will be liable to imprisonment for a term which may extend to 14 years and to fine. Section number 56. Abatement of offense punishable with imprisonment. Whoever abates an offense punishable with imprisonment shall, if that offense be not committed in consequences of the abatement, and no express provision is made under the Sanhita for the punishment of such abatement, be punished with imprisonment for of any description provided for that offense for a term which may extend to 1/4 part of the longest term provided for that offense, or with such fine is provided for that offense, or with both. And if the abater or the person abated is a public servant whose duty it is to prevent the commission of such offense, the abater shall be punished with the imprisonment of any description provided for that offense for a term which may extend to 1/2 of the longest term provided for that offense, or with such fine is provided for the offense, or with both. Illustration: A instigate B to give false evidence. Here, if B does not give false evidence, A has nevertheless committed the offense defined in the section and is punishable accordingly. Illustration B. A police officer whose duty is to prevent robbery abates the commission of robbery. Here, though the robbery be not committed, A is liable to 1/2 of the longest term of imprisonment provided for that offense and also to fine. Illustration C. B abates the commission of a robbery by A police officer whose duty is to prevent that offense. Here, though the robbery be not committed, B is liable to 1/2 of the longest term of the imprisonment provided for the offense of robbery and also the fine. Now, section number 57. Abating commission of offense by public or by more than 10 persons. Whoever abates the commission of an offense by the public generally, or by any number of class or any number or class of person exceeding 10, shall be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 7 years and with fine. Illustration: A affixes in a public place and placard instigating a sect consists of more than 10 members to meet at a certain time and place for the purpose of attacking the member of an adverse sect while engaged in a procession. A has committed the offense defined in this section. Now, section number 58. Concealing design to commit offense punishable with death or imprisonment for life. Whoever intending to facilitate or knowing it to be likely that he will thereby facilitate the commission of an offense punishable with death or imprisonment for life, voluntarily conceal by any act or omission, or by the use of encryption or any other information hiding tools, the existence of a design to commit such offense, or makes an representation which he knows to be false respecting such design shall, A, if that offense be committed, be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 7 years, or B, if the offense be not committed with the imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 3 years, and shall also be liable to fine. Illustration: A, knowing that dacoity is about to be committed at B, falsely informs that the magistrate that A dacoity is about to be committed at C, a place is in opposite direction, and thereby mislead the magistrate with the intention to facilitate the commission of the offence. The dacoity is committed at B in pursuance of the design. A is punishable under this act. Section 59. Public servant concealing design to commit offence which it is his duty to prevent. Whoever being a public servant intending to facilitate or knowing it to be likely that he will thereby facilitates the commission of an offence which it is his duty as such public servant to prevent, voluntarily conceal by any act or omission or by use of encryption or any other information hiding tool the existence of a design to commit such offence, or makes any representation which he knows to be false respecting such designs, shall A, if the offence be committed, be punished with imprisonment any description provided for the offence for a term which may extend to one half of the longest term of such imprisonment, or with such fine as is provided for that offence, or with both. Or B, if the offence be punishable with death or imprisonment for life, the imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 10 years. Or C, if the offence be not committed, shall be punished with imprisonment of any description provided for the offence for a term which may extend to 1/4 part of the longest term of such imprisonment, or with such fine as is provided for the offence, or with both. Illustration: A, an officer of police being legally bound to give information of all design to commit robbery which may come to his knowledge, and knowing that B designs to commit robbery, omits to give such information with intent to so facilitate the commission of that offence. Here A has by an illegal omission concealed the existence of B's design and is liable to punishment according to the provision of this section. Section 60. Concealing design to commit offence punishable with imprisonment. Whoever intending to facilitate or knowing it to be likely that he will thereby facilitate the commission of an offence punishable with imprisonment, voluntarily conceal by any act or illegal omission the existence of a design to commit such offence, or makes any representation which he knows to be false respecting such design, shall A, if the offence be committed, be punished with imprisonment of the description provided for the offence for a term which may extend to 1/4, and B, if the offence is not committed, to 1/8 of the longest term of such imprisonment, or with such fine as it's provided for the offence, or with both. Now, of criminal conspiracy. So, criminal conspiracy is in section 61. Section 61, criminal conspiracy. So, first, when two or more persons agree with a common object to do or cause to be done, A, an illegal act, or B, an act which is not illegal. By illegal means such an agreement is designed a criminal conspiracy, provided that no agreement except an agreement to commit an offence shall amount to a criminal conspiracy unless some act besides the agreement is done by one or more parties to such agreement in pursuance thereof. Explanation: it is immaterial whether the illegal act is the ultimate object of such agreement or is merely incidental to of that object. Second, whoever is a party to a criminal conspiracy, A, commits an offense punishable with death, imprisonment for life, or rigorous imprisonment for a term 2 years or upward, shall, where no express provision is made in this Sanhita for the punishment of such a conspiracy, be punished in the same manner as if he had abetted such offense. B. Other than a criminal conspiracy, it commits an offense punishable as aforesaid, shall be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term not exceeding 6 months, or with a fine, or both. Section 62. Punishment for attempting to commit offenses punishable with imprisonment for life or other imprisonment. Whoever attempts to commit an offense punishable by the Sanhita with imprisonment for life or imprisonment, or to cause such an offense to be committed, and in such attempt does any act towards the commission of the offense, shall, where no express provision is made by the Sanhita for the punishment of such attempt, be punished with imprisonment of any description provided for the offense for a term which may extend to half of the imprisonment of life, as the case may be, one half of the longest term of the imprisonment provided for that offense, or with such fine as is provided for the offense, for or with both. Illustration. A makes an attempt is to steal some jewels by breaking open a box, and find after so opening the box that there is no jewels in it. He was done an act towards the commission of theft, and therefore is guilty under this section. So A makes an attempt to pick the pocket of Z by thrusting his hand into Z's pocket. A fails in the attempts of consequences of Z's having nothing in his pocket. A is guilty under this section. Now, so we have covered the chapter number 4. So now we will continue the chapter number 5. So chapter number 5 of offenses against women and child of sexual offense. So first is section 63 is rape. A man is said to commit rape if he, A, penetrate his penis to any extent into the vagina, mouth, urethra or anus of a woman, or makes her to do with him or any other person, or B, insert to any extent any object or a part of the body not being the penis into the vagina, the urethra or anus of a woman, or make her to do with so with him or any other person, or C, manipulates any part of the body of a woman so as to cause penetration into the vagina, urethra, anus, or any part of the body such woman, or makes her to do so with him or any other person, or D, applies his mouth on the vagina, anus, urethra of a woman, or makes her to do so with him or any other person. Under the circumstances, failing under any of the following 7 description: A, first, against her will; second, without her consent; third, with her consent, when her consent has been obtained by putting her or any person in whom she is interested in fear of death of hurt; fourth, with her consent, when the man knows that he is not her husband, and that her consent is given because she believes that he is another man to whom she is or believes herself to be lawfully married. 5, with her consent, at the time of giving such consent by reason of unsoundedness of mind or intoxication or the administration or by him personally or through another of any stupefying or unwholesome substance. She is unable to understand the nature of the consequences of that to which she gives consent. 6. With or without her consent when she is under 18 years of age. 7th, when she is unable to communicate consent. So, now the explanation of one number 1, for the purpose of this section, vagina shall also include labia majora. Explanation 2, consent means an unequivocal voluntary agreement when the women by words, gesture or any form of verbal or non-verbal communication communicates willingness to participate in the specific sexual act, provided that a woman who does not physically resist to the act of penetration shall not by the reason only of that a fact the be regarded as consenting to the sexual activity. Exception 1. A medical procedure or intervention shall not constitute rape. Exception 2. Sexual intercourse or sexual act by a man with his wife, with his own wife, the wife not being under 18 years of age is not rape. Now, the section number 64, punishment for rape. So, first, whoever except in the case provided for is in subsection 2 commits rape shall be punished with a rigorous imprisonment of either description for a term which shall not be less than 10 years but which may extend to imprisonment for life and shall also be liable to fine. Second, whoever A, being a police officer, commits rape, A, within the limit of police station to which police officer is appointed, or 2, in the premises of any station, house, or 3, on a woman in such police officer's custody or in the custody of a police officer subordinate to such police officer, or B, being a public servant, commits rape on a woman in such public servant's custody or in the custody of a public servant subordinate to such public servant, or C, being a member of the armed forces deployed in an area, the central government or the state government commits rape in such area, or being on a management or on the staff of a jail, remand home or other place of custody established by or under any law for the time being in force or of a women's children's institution, commits rape on any inmate of such jail, remand home, place on institution, or E, being the management or on the staff of a hospital, commits rape on a woman in that hospital, or F, being a relative, guardian, or teacher of or a person in position of trust or authority towards the women, commits rape on such women, or G, commits rape during communal or sectarian violence, or H, commits rape on a woman knowing her to be pregnant, or I, commits rape on a woman incapable of giving consent, or J, being in a position of control or dominance over a woman, commits rape on such women, or K, commits rape on a woman suffering from mental or physical disability, or L, where while committing rape causes grievous bodily harm or maims or disfigure or endangers the life of a woman, or M, commits rape repeatedly on the same woman, shall be punished with rigorous imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than 10 years, but which may extend to imprisonment for life, which shall mean imprisonment for the remainder of the person's natural life and shall also be liable fine. Explanation. For the purpose of such for the purpose of this subsection, A, armed forces means that naval army and air force and includes any member of the armed forces constitute under any law for the time being in force, including the paramilitary forces and any auxiliary forces that are under the control of the central government or the state government. B, hospital means the precincts of the hospital and includes the precincts of any institution for the reception and treatment of person during convalescence or a person requiring medical attention or rehabilitation. C, police officer shall have same meaning as assigned to the expression police under the Police Act 1861 51861. D, women or a children's institution means an institution whether called an orphanage or a home or neglected women or children or a widow's home or an institution called by any other name which established and maintained for the repetition and care of women or children. Section number 65, punishment for rape in certain cases. First, whoever commits rape on a woman under 16 years of age shall be punished with rigorous imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than 20 years, but which shall may extend to the imprisonment for life, which shall mean imprisonment for the remainder of that person's natural life and shall also be liable to fine, provided that such fine shall be just and reasonable to meet the medical expenses and rehabilitation of the victim. Provided further that any fine imposed under this subsection shall be paid to the victim. Second, whoever commits rape on a woman under 12 years of age shall be punished with rigorous imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than 20 years, but which may extend to the imprisonment of for life, which shall mean imprisonment for the remainder of the person's natural life, and with a fine or with death, provided that such fine shall be just and reasonable to meet the medical expenses or rehabilitation of the victim, provided further that any further imposed under the subsection shall be paid to the victim. Section 66, punishment for causing death or resulting in persistent vegetative state of victim. Whoever commits an offense punishable under section subsection 1 or subsection 2 of the section 64 and in such course of such commission inflicts any injury which causes the death of the women or causes the women to be in a persistent vegetative state shall be punished with rigorous imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than than 20 years, but which may extend to imprisonment for life and which shall mean imprisonment for remainder of that person's natural life or with death. Section number 67. Sexual intercourse by husband upon his wife during separation. Whoever has sexual intercourse with his wife who is living separately, whether under a decree of separation or otherwise without her consent, shall be punished with imprisonment, either description for a term which shall not be less than 2 years, but which may extend to the 7 years and shall also be liable to the fine. Explanation. In this section, sexual intercourse shall mean any of the acts mentioned in the clause 1 to D of section 63. Section 68. Sexual intercourse by a person in authority. Whoever being A, in a position of authority or in a fiduciary relationship, or B, a public servant, or C, superintendent or manager of a jail, remand home or other place of custody established by or under any law for the time being in force, or women or children's institution, or D, on the management of hospital or being on the staff of a hospital, abuses such position to fiduciary relationship to induce or seduce any women either in his custody or under his charge or present in the premises to have sexual intercourse with him. Such sexual intercourse not amounting to the offense of rape shall be punished with a rigorous imprisonment of either description for a term which shall not be less than 5 years and but which may extend to 10 years and shall also be liable to fine. So now the section number explanation 1. In this section, sexual intercourse shall mean any of the act mentioned in the clause A to D of section 63. Explanation number 2 for the purposes of this section. Explanation 1 to section 63 shall also be applicable. Explanation 3. Superintendent in relation to a jail, remand home or other place custody or other place of custody or a women's or child's institution includes a person holding any other office in such jail, remand home, place or institution by virtue of which such person can exercise any authority or control over its inmates. Explanation 4. The expression hospital and women's or children's institution shall respectively have the same meaning as in clause B and D of the explanation to subsection 2 of section 64. Section 69. Sexual intercourse by employing deceitful means, etc. Whoever by deceitful means or by making promise to marry two women without any intention of fulfilling the same has sexual intercourse with her, such sexual intercourse not amounting to the offense of rape shall be punished with the imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 10 years and shall also be liable to the fine. Explanation. Deceitful means shall include inducement or false promises of employment or a promotion or marrying for suppressing identity. Section 70. Gang rape. A. Where a woman is raped by one or more person constituting a group or acting or in furtherance of a common intention, each of such persons shall be deemed to have committed the offense of rape and shall be punished with a rigorous imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than 20 years but which may extend to imprisonment for life, which shall mean imprisonment for the remainder of that person's natural life and with fine, provided that such a person shall be just and reasonable to meet the medical expenses and rehabilitation of the victim. Provided further that any further imposed under this subsection shall be paid to the victim. Second, where a woman under 18 years of age is raped by one or more person constituting a group or acting in furtherance of common intention, each of those persons shall be deemed to have committed the offense of rape and shall be punished with imprisonment for life, which shall mean imprisonment for the remainder of the person's natural life and with fine or with death, provided that such fine shall be just and reasonable to meet the medical expenses of rehabilitation of the victim, provided further that any fine imposed under the subsection shall be paid to the victim. Section number 71. Punishment for repeat offender. Whoever has been previously convicted of an offense punishable under section 64 or section 65 or section 66 or section 70 and is subsequently convicted of an offense punishable under any of said section shall be punished with imprisonment for life, which shall mean imprisonment for the remainder of that person's natural life or with death. Section 72. Disclosure of identity of a victim of certain offences, etc. First, whoever prints or publishes the name or any matter which may make known the identity of any person against whom an offence under section 64 or 65 or 66 or 67 or section 68, 69, section 70 or section 71 is alleged or found to have been committed hereafter in the section referred to as the victim shall be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 2 years and shall also be liable to fine. 2. Nothing in subsection 1 extend to any printing, publication of the name or any matter which may make known the identity of the victim if such printing or publication is a by or under the order in writing of the officer in charge of the police station or the police officer making the investigation into such offense, acting in good faith of the purpose of such investigation, or B by or with the authorization in writing of the victim, or C where the victim is deal or a child of unsound mind by or with the unauthorization in writing of the next of kin of the victim, provided that no such authorization shall be given by the next of kin to anybody other than the chairman of the chairman or the secretary by whatever name called of any recognized welfare institution or organization. Explanation: for the purpose of the subsection, recognized welfare institution or organization means a social welfare institution or organization recognized in this behalf by the central government or the state government. Section 73. Printing or publishing any matter relating to court proceeding without permission. Whoever prints or publishes any matter in relation to any proceeding before a court with respect to an offense referred to in section 72 without the previous permission of such court shall be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 2 years and shall also be liable to the fine. Explanation: the printing or publication of judgment of any high court or the Supreme Court does not amount to an offense within the meaning of this section. Of criminal forces and assault against women. Section 74. Assault or use of criminal force to women with intent to outrage her modesty. Whoever assault or uses criminal force to any woman intending to outrage or knowing it to be likely that he will thereby outrage her modesty shall be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which shall not be less than 1 year but which may extend to 5 years and shall also be liable to fine. Section 75. Sexual harassment. 1. A man committing any of the following act. First, physical contact and advances involving unwelcome and explicit sexual overture, or 2. Demand or request for sexual favor, or 3. Showing pornography against the will of a woman, or 4. Making sexually colored remarks shall be guilty of the offense of sexual harassment. 2. Any man who commits the offenses specified in clause 1 or clause 2 or clause 3 of subsection 1 shall be punished with rigorous imprisonment for a term which may extend to 3 years or with a fine or with both. Any man who commits the offense specified in clause 4 of subsection 1 shall be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 1 year or fine or with both. Section 76. Assault or use of criminal force to women with intent to disrobe. Whoever assault or uses criminal force to any woman or abets such act with intention of disrobing or compelling her to be naked shall be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which shall not be less than 3 years but which may extend to 7 years and shall also be liable to fine. Section 77. Why voyeurism? Whoever watches or captures the images of a woman engaging in a private act in circumstances where she would usually have the expectation of not being observed either by the predator or by any other person at the behest of the predators or emanates such image shall be punished on first conviction with imprisonment of either description for a term which shall not be less than 1 year, but which may extend to 3 years, and shall also be liable to fine and the and be punished on a second or subsequent conviction with imprisonment either description for a term which shall not be less than 3 years, but which may extend to 7 years, and shall be liable to fine. Explanation 1. For the purpose of this section, private act includes an act of watching carried out in place which in the circumstances would reasonably be expected to provide privacy and where the victim's genitals, posteriors or breast or are exposed or covered only in underwear, or the victim is using a lavatory, or the victim's doing a sexual act that is not a kind ordinarily done in public. Explanation 2. Where the victim consent to the capture of the image or any act, but not to their dis- dissemination to third person, and where such image or act is disseminated, such dissemination shall be considered an offense under the section. Section 78. Stalking. First, any man who first follows a woman and contact or attempts to contact such women to foster personal interaction repeatedly despite a clear indication of disinterest by such women, or second, monitors the use by women of the interest, email, or any other form of electronic communication, commits the offense of stalking, provided that such conduct shall not amount the stalking if the women who persuade it proves that a it was persuaded for the purpose of preventing or detecting crime, and the man accused of stalking had been instruct entrusted with the responsibility of prevention and detection of crime by the state, or it was pursued under any law or to comply with any condition requirement imposed by any person under any law, or third, in the particular circumstances such conduct was reasonable and justified. Second, whoever commits the offense of stalking shall be punished on first conviction and imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 3 years, and shall also be liable to fine and be punished on a second or subsequent conviction with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 5 years, and shall also be liable to fine. Section 79. Word, gesture, or act intended to insult modesty of a woman. Whoever intending to insult the modesty of any woman utters any word, makes any sound or gesture, or exhibit any object in any form, intending that such word or sound shall be heard, or that such gesture or object shall be seen by such women, or intrudes upon the privacy of such women, shall be punished with simple imprisonment of a term which may extend to 3 years, and also with fine. Now, of offences relating to marriage. Section 80. Dowry death. First, when the death of a woman is caused by any burn or bodily injury, or occurs otherwise than under normal circumstances within 7 years of her marriage, and it is shown that soon before her death, she was subjected to cruelty or harassment by the husband or any relative of her husband, or in connection with any demand of dowry. Such death shall be called dowry death, and such husband or relative shall be deemed to have caused her death. Explanation: for the purpose of this subsection, dowry shall have the same meaning as in exception as in section 2 of the Dowry Prohibition Act 1961, 28 of 1961. Second, whoever commits dowry death shall be punished with imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than 7 years, but which may extend to imprisonment of life. Section 81: cohabitation caused by any deceitfully, including belief of lawful marriage. Every man who by deceitful cause any woman who is not lawfully married to him to believe that she is lawfully married to him and to cohabit or have sexual intercourse with him in that belief shall be punished with imprisonment or either description for a term which may extend to 10 years, or shall also be liable to fine. Section 82: marrying again during lifetime of husband or wife. Whoever having a husband First, whoever having a husband or wife living marries in any case in which such marriage is void by reason of its taking place during the life of such husband or wife shall be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 7 years, and shall also be liable to fine. Exception: so the subsection does not extend to any person though whose marriage with such husband or wife has been declared void by a court competent jurisdiction, nor to any person who contract marriage during the life of a former husband or wife, if such husband or wife at the time of subsequent marriage shall have been continually absent from such person for the space of 7 years, and shall not have been heard or of by such person or being alive within that time period, the person contracting such subsequent marriage shall before such marriage takes place inform the person with whom such marriage is contracted of the real state of facts so far as the same are within his or her knowledge. Second, whoever commits the offense under the subsection 1, having concealed from the person with whom the subsequent marriage is contracted the fact of the former marriage, shall be punished with the imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 10 years, and shall also be liable to fine. Section 83: marriage ceremony fraudulently gone through without lawful marriage. Whoever dishonestly or with the fraudulent intention goes through the ceremony of being married, knowing that he is not thereby lawfully married, shall be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 7 years, and shall also be liable to fine. Section 84: enticing or taking away or detaining with criminal intent a married woman. Whoever takes or entices away any woman who is and whom he knows or has reason to believe to be wife of any other man, with intent that she may have illicit intercourse with any other person, or conceal or detain with that intent any such women, shall be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 2 years, or fine, or with both. Section 85. Husband or relative of a husband of a woman subjecting her to cruelty. Whoever being the husband or the relative of the husband of a woman subjects such women to cruelty shall be punished with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 3 years and shall also be liable to fine. 86. Section 86. Cruelty defined. For the purpose of section 85, cruelty means a. Any willful conduct which is of such nature is likely to be drive the women to commit suicide or to cause grave injury or danger to life, limb or health, whether mental or physical, of the women, or b. harassment of the women where such harassment with a view to coercing her or any person related to her to meet any unlawful demand for any property of valuable security, or is of account of or failure by her or any person related to her to meet such demand. Now, section 87. Kidnapping, abducting, inducing women to compel her marriage, etc. Whoever kidnaps or abducts any woman with intent that she may be compelled, or knowing it to be likely that she will be compelled to marry any person against her will, or in order that she may be forced or seduced to illicit intercourse, or knowing it to be likely that she will be forced or seduced to illicit intercourse, shall be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 10 years and shall also be liable to fine. And whoever by means of criminal intimidation as defined in the Sanhita, or of abuse of authority or any other method of compulsion, induce any women to go from any place with intent that she may be, or knowing that it is likely that she will be forced or seduced the illicit intercourse with another person, shall also be punishable as aforesaid. Of causing miscarriage, etc. Section 87. Section 88. Causing miscarriage. Whoever voluntarily causes women with child to miscarry shall, if such miscarriage be not caused in good faith for the purpose of saving the life of the women, be punished with imprisonment of the either description for a term which may extend to the 3 years, or with fine, or with the both. And if the women be quick with child, shall be punished with the imprisonment of either description of a term which may extend to 7 years and shall also be liable to fine. Explanation. A woman who causes herself to miscarry is within the meaning of this section. Section 89. Causing miscarriage without women's consent. Whoever commits the offence under the sections 88 without the consent of the woman, whether the woman is quick with child or not, shall be punished with imprisonment for life, or with imprisonment for either description for a term which may extend to 10 years and shall also be liable to fine. Section 90. Death caused by act done with intent or causing miscarriage. First, whoever with the intent to cause the miscarriage of a woman with child does any act which causes death of any such woman shall be punished with the imprisonment of either description of a term which may extend to the 10 years and shall also be liable to fine. Second, where the act referred to in subsection 1 is done without the consent of women, shall be punished either with imprisonment for life, or with the punishment specified in said subsection. Explanation. It is not essential of this offence that the offender should know that the act is likely to be cause death. Now, section 91. Act done with intent to prevent child being born alive or to cause to die after birth. Whoever, before the birth of any child, does any act with the intention of thereby preventing that child from being born alive or causing it to die after its birth, and does by such act prevent that child from being born alive or causing it to die after its birth, shall, if such act be not caused in good faith for the purpose of saving the life of the mother, be punished with imprisonment of either description of a term which may be extended to 10 years, or with fine, or with both. Section 92. Causing death of a quick unborn child by act amounting to culpable homicide. Whoever does any act under such circumstances that if he thereby caused death, he would be guilty of culpable homicide, and does such act and does by culpable homicide and does by such act cause the death of a quick unborn child, shall be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 10 years, and shall be liable to fine. Illustration: A, knowing that he is likely to cause the death of a pregnant woman, does an act with, if it caused the death of the woman, would amount to culpable homicide. The woman is injured but does not die, but the death of an unborn quick child, which she is pregnant, is thereby caused. A is guilty of the offence defined in the section. Of offences against child. Section 93. Exposure and abandonment. Exposure and abandonment. Abandonment. Exposure and abandonment of child under 12 years of age by parents or a person having care of it. Whoever, being the father or mother of a child under the age of 12 year, or having the care of such child, shall expose or leave such child in any place with the intention of wholly abandoning such child, shall be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to the 7 years, or fine, with both. Explanation: this section is not intended to prevent the trial of the offender for murder or culpable homicide, as the case may be if the child dies in consequences of the exposure. Section 94. Concealment of birth by secret disposal of dead body. Whoever, by secretly burying or otherwise disposing of the dead body of a child, whether such child die before or after, during its birth, intentionally conceal or endeavors to conceal the birth of such child, shall be punished with the imprisonment, either description for a term which may extend to 2 years, or with a fine, or with both. Section 95. Hiring, employing, or engaging a child to commit an offence. Whoever hires, employs, or engages any child to commit an offence shall be punished with imprisonment, either description which shall not be less than 3 years, but which may extend to 10 years, and with fine, and if the offence be committed, shall also be punished with the punishment provided for the offence, as if the offence has been committed by such person himself. Explanation: hiring, employing, engaging, or using a child for sexual exploitation or pornography is covered with the meaning of this section. Section 96. Procuration of a child. Whoever by any means whatsoever induces any child to go from any place or to do any act with the intent that such child may be, or knowing that it is likely that such child will be forced or reduced or seduced to illicit intercourse with another person, shall be punishable with imprisonment which may extend to 10 years, and shall also be liable to fine. Section 97. Kidnapping or abducting child under 10 years of age with intent to steal from its person. whoever kidnaps or abducts any child under the age of 10 years with the intention of taking dishonestly any movable property from the person of such child shall be punished with the imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 7 years and shall also be liable to fine. Sections 98. Selling child for purpose of prostitution, etc. Whoever sells, lets to hire, or otherwise disposes of any child with intent, and such child shall at any age be employed or used for the purpose of prostitution or illicit intercourse with any person, or for any unlawful immoral purpose, or knowing it to be likely that such child will at any age by employed or used for any such purpose shall be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 10 years and shall also be liable to fine. Explanation 1. When a female under the age of 18 years is sold, let for hire, or otherwise disposed of to a prostitute or to any person who keeps or manages a brothel, the person so disposing of such female shall, until the contrary is proved, be presumed to have disposed of her with the intent that she shall be used for the purpose of prostitution. Explanation 2. For the purpose of this section, illicit intercourse means sexual intercourse between persons not united by marriage or by any union or tie, which though not amounting to a marriage is recognized by the personal law or custom of community to which they belong, or where they belong to different communities or of both such communities as constituting between them a kaji marital relation. Section 99. Buying child or purpose of prostitution, etc. Whoever buys, hires, or otherwise obtain possession of a child, possession of any child with intent that such child shall at any age be employed or used for the purpose of prostitution, for illicit intercourse with any person, or for any unlawful immoral purpose, or knowing it to be likely that such child will at any age be employed or used for any such purpose, shall be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which shall not be less than 7 years, but which may extend to 14 years, and shall be liable to fine. Shall also liable to fine. Explanation 1. Any prostitute or any person keeping or managing a brothel who buys, hires, or otherwise obtains possession of a female under the age of 18 years shall, until the contrary is proved, be presumed to have obtained possession of such female with intent that she shall be used for the purpose of prostitution. Explanation 2. Illicit intercourse has the same meaning as in section 98. So we have covered chapter 4 and chapter 5. Next chapter is very important, so we will cover it in the next lecture. Till then, take care.